Here's how you can gain respect from your team as a manager. One of the most challenging part of being a new manager is gaining respect. A lot of new leaders feel that they have to perform authority or they have to prove their competence. They feel inadequate when managing people who are more experienced or much older than them. What I have found over the years is that for you to gain respect from others, you also need to respect yourself. Check what you believe about yourself. How I define respect for the purposes of this video is that respect equals being trusted, being listened to, and not being second guessed all the time. The number one way that you can gain respect from others is to signal respect through strong communication. This is speaking with clarity, making sure that your point is being understood. If you need to slow down and speak slower, I find that people who speak a bit slower, we have more confidence in them. When you look at all these famous speeches, or even when you listen to Obama speak, his cadence is a bit slower. I'm working on that, but speak slower, speak with clarity, have structure in your message and simplicity. I think that we have to use big words and we have to use all these technical words in order for people to respect us or in order for people to think that we know what we're saying. But actually, when you're able to break down concepts and explain things really simply for anyone to understand, it shows that you have learned it yourself as well and you know what you're talking about. You're able to communicate with multiple audiences. Another big piece of communicating with confidence is maintaining calmness and emotional steadiness. Stability earns trust over time. If you're always anxious, if you're emotionally unstable, if you're very reactive, if you get angry quickly, every time someone questions your ideas or questions your decisions, you lash out on them, it will already signal that there's something off here and people won't trust you. People trust leaders who are calm, people trust leaders who are stable, who communicate well with others and have that emotional maturity to be able to handle negative feedback, to be able to make decisions under pressure and still remain calm. Thinking about being measured about how you react and especially under pressure, really manage your emotions. You can do this through breathing, taking a moment, buying yourself a little bit of time and using silence before you answer in order for you to not react. Taking a pause even 3 times. Sometimes I count in my head, I'm like 1, 2, 3. Breathe in, then I respond. It's okay to take a bit of time before you answer, especially if you're feeling that you will be reactive in that instance. When you regulate, you're perceived as more competent and trustworthy. Confidence is not being aggressive. It's not coming, hey, I'm the boss, you have to do this because I say it so. When people are doing something wrong, instead of giving them feedback in a calm way, you're shouting, you're screaming, people lose confidence. You're signaling that there is something wrong, that maybe you have low self-esteem issues, so you have to assert your dominance. Micro signals matter. What happens is that we're constantly apologizing. We constantly apologize for our existence. We soften every directive. That signals uncertainty. When we're like, I'm not sure, this may not be a good idea. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to check if you could send that report. Be direct. You don't need to apologize for your existence. You can signal strength by being clear, being direct, and making informed decisions and owning your role. People want leaders who own their role, who are clear, who are direct, who can make informed decisions and really sit in their role and embody it. Stop apologizing for your existence. I find this especially with us women. We've been taught to not take up space. You need to take up space. That doesn't mean be rude or be mean to people, but be okay with where you exist. But show up fully and own the space that you're in. Now, what are the practical techniques that you can take in order to actually signal confidence? So we already talked about pausing before responding. Take a few seconds before you respond to somebody. Some people are going to be a bit rude. Some people are, because they're reactive, they can come to you in a reactive way. You don't have to respond like that. Sometimes you also model the behavior you want to see in your team by your own calmness. When you show that you're able to take a step back and be like, okay, let's walk through this, let's breathe through this, and you show up calmly and are able to manage your emotions, you model that for your team as well. If you're reactive, chances are your teams are also going to be more reactive. Another practical tip is repeat back questions to ensure clarity and then give time to think. So sometimes someone can ask you a question that catches you off guard. You can ask them, can you please repeat that? Or if you're asking a question, you can repeat it if you feel like the person is not understanding. I also found it useful to prepare go-to phrases, especially in high pressure moments. So something I say is, let me take a moment to think this through, and then I'll get back to you. Or I'll say, I'll look into that and circle back with the best answer. So take your time. Remember, everything you say as a leader is taken seriously. Even sometimes when you're joking, your suggestions are taken as directions, not just suggestions. So really take your time to make sure that you're giving good suggestions, that you have considered all aspects and making good decisions. Now, another way that you can gain respect is being approachable. Be friendly, be professional, maintain a neutral tone, calmness with people, ask open-ended questions about people's experiences, about their motivations, about their needs. You can do this through one-on-ones. I have created a video on how to have effective one-on-ones. I think they're a great tool to gain respect from new teams or from your teams. Build relationships through the one-on-ones. Listen more than you speak. This is actually a note to me. I always have to remind myself to listen more than I speak. And then also show genuine care about people without oversharing yourself. I think you can still be present, you can still connect with people without oversharing your whole life. We need to be careful about that. Some people think that you need to be absolute friends with your coworkers or with your employees. I do think you need to be friends, but I think there's different levels of friendships. I don't think that your employees need to know everything about your personal life. You can share a little bit, but I would be cautious of that. But show genuine care. Remember the things that they tell you, birthdays, if their kids are doing sports, their names. One of your employees goes to a trip to Mexico. When they come back, hey, how was your trip? Just maintain that approachableness. I find that humor also makes you more approachable, but this has to be a natural humor. Don't force humor. It shouldn't be inappropriate. But if you're naturally a person who uses humor a lot, you're funny, bring that into your work as well. I think it helps put people at ease. We often think that competence is just the technical skills, but a lot of times warmth comes before competence. 85% people who describe their best bosses, they describe them using their interpersonal skills, not their technical ability. So how approachable you are, how friendly you are, your emotional maturities, those matter in how much people respect you. As leaders, we focus a lot on being liked. I think being liked is absolutely optional, but being trusted is a must for you to be able to lead a team. You may have to make decisions that are not so popular with everybody else, but when they see that you are a person who is supportive, you've made good decisions, you have taken a team to a better place, you have taken their input as well, that gains you respect more than you being liked by everyone. And another part is having boundaries. I think boundaries really protect your credibility over friendliness, especially when it's too early, can confuse people about their expectations and complicate conversations about accountability. I think you need to be friendly. I'm a very friendly person, but there needs to be a bit of a boundary there where people know that it's time for work now. We need to have a serious conversation, but I'm also open. I'm a genuine person. I'm open. I'm genuinely interested. I'm approachable. But when it comes down to it, I will be able to give you feedback. I'll be able to have those hard conversations. So create your boundaries. Don't focus on being liked. Make the best decisions to move the team forward and support them as much as you can. But being liked is absolutely optional. So what are some of the practical tips in which we can do this? We can learn about people's preferred ways of communication. I think through one-on-ones, I learned so much about my teams. How do they want to be led? Is there something that maybe I'm missing that they need support in? In which ways do they want to be appreciated? In which ways do they want to be recognized? Acts of kindness actually go a long way in building connection with people, but also getting respect. Another way that is absolutely important in you gaining respect is keeping your word, being consistent. You need to treat everyone with respect. The respect that you expect from people, you need to treat people like that. The respect that you would like to receive, you need to model that respect. You need to set the standards and lead by example through your actions and actually enforce the standards. When people go against the standards that you guys have set as a team, actually enforce them. A lot of times we let things slide. We let bad manners slide. We let poor performance slide. which then makes our team lose confidence in our leadership. You need to set the standards and actually hold people accountable to the standards, and hold yourself to the standards as well. I find that another way to gain respect, which is counterintuitive because a lot of managers think that they need to micromanage people and control them in order to gain respect. Give people autonomy and avoid micromanagement. Give them autonomy and ownership over their work. Involve them in decision making. There are times where you're going to have to make the decisions yourself, but as much as you can, let people do their job and just be there to support them. Another way that has helped build trust and respect is owning your mistakes openly and calmly. Intellectual humility goes a long way, not just in your personal life, but at work for your own growth as well. Being able to say, hey, I made this mistake. I'm going to fix it, and take accountability and ownership over fixing it. Don't blame people. People see you as a person who is honest, who is authentic. And it also develops psychological safety, because then people will actually feel that they can make mistakes and they won't be judged or blamed for it. A lot of times we get caught up in what other people think of us, and it prevents us from being the best that we can. I think when you're a new leader, you need to expect a transition period within your teams. Your teams need time to adapt. So you need to be able to separate external noise from your internal worth. How people feel about the transition, their struggles, it's nothing to do with who you are as a person. You are inherently valuable as a person. Your work, your achievements is not tied to your inherent value. Don't put your identity in the work. I find that a lot of times people who are so enmeshed with their work fail to have a fuller life, and often actually get more stressed and more anxious about work because they have no life beyond work. So expect that there will be a bias, expect that there will be a transition period. People may have had negative experiences with a previous manager or previous leader, and so now they're coming into this with a bit of reservation, or they may have had a great leader and now are scared, what if that changes? In order to sort of navigate this, ask your team members about their past experiences and their fears that they may have. I think what would help with navigating different biases, with navigating that transition, navigating the challenges we have as leaders, is building a personal board of advisors. This could be 2 to 3 experienced leaders that you can safely learn from. Ask them their experiences. You'll be surprised. A lot of us have similar experiences when we enter into different positions. And try to make this board of advisors diverse so you can see the shared experiences across different races, across different genders, across different types of people and fields. I find that sometimes we think because we're experiencing this and we're a certain race or gender, then it is tied to our race or gender, or it's tied to something negative about us, or it's tied to our inability. And we forget that humans are inherently biased. We see the world through the lens of our biases. We also have our own biases, and there's ways that we can navigate this without feeling that we're not good enough. So I would advise you to prepare for bias by getting advisors. If you can, get a coach as well to help you navigate through that transition. I would also say document your wins. Document all your wins and contributions so that you can strengthen your sense of competence. You can actually feel better about yourself, and it changes how you show up. When you believe in yourself, like I said before, respect comes from also how you show up. When you believe in yourself, you show up differently, you show up better, you get out of your head more and focus more on serving others. And I find that it's so helpful for you to appreciate yourself so that you can always show up positively and show up better and learn and show up better for your teams. One thing that I have been surprised about building respect is recognition. I underestimated the power and value of reciprocity. When you notice people's strengths, when you appreciate them for the behaviors they do, and you're genuinely and specific about what you appreciate, people begin to notice your strengths as well. They begin to notice the parts that you do well as well. When you focus on the negative, they also start noticing the negative more. So I would say use your one-on-ones to acknowledge meaningful contributions, acknowledge them even at team meetings as well. Share public praise for wins, share developmental feedback privately. celebrate progress and not just outcomes, and build that team spirit of appreciating each other. It builds a positive team environment, it creates psychological safety, and it also changes people's perception of you because they see that you are noticing them, that you care about their contribution as well. And that is always a positive thing because not many leaders actually do that for people. Now, the last tip on how you can build trust is preparing in advance. Your learning is up to you. I find that a lot of times we'll join a team maybe that has more experience than us and expect them to teach us everything. You need to do your own research, be proactive about your learning, provide clarity, direction, and structure. Look at the systems. How can you make the system better? How can you remove bottlenecks? Really create order for your team. Find out what you need in order for you to align priorities with your team, in order for you to tell people what their roles are and what you expect of them. When you're a sure leader, people build more trust in you and thus respect you even more. Stay consistent, especially during stress, during conflict. Your steadiness, your calmness, it becomes a standard that your team follows. Think about when you're in a stressful situation. Let's say there's a fire and your manager is usually the person that is freaking out about everything. When something breaks, they're like, oh my God, blaming everybody. Is that the person you would trust to be able to bring your team to safety? If that's not the person, and if you feel like you're a person also that's not steady, that's not calm, that's not able to make decisions under pressure, take it upon yourself to learn those skills and be proactive about your learning. It's not up to your team to teach you these things. They may reflect back and give you feedback, but it's up to you to go and take on the learning. So be proactive about your learning because it's not just about the job that you're in. It's going to make you a better person. It's going to prepare you for better leadership position, for more senior roles, but also even prepare you for when you run your own business, for when you're a parent, for when you do great things out there in the world. All these skills that we develop can be transferred to other situations. I would say always, always, always be proactive about your own learning. People can see that you're getting better and they will in turn respect you even more. So good luck with your job. Good luck with your role. I am pretty sure that if you're watching this video, you're the type of person that wants to get better and you will get better over time. Let me know how I can support your learning. Let me know if this was useful. Let me know if there's something that you would like to talk about or something that you want me to go deeper in. Comment below and I will do so. Thank you so much. I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.